If you're going through life and you feel lost, and you feel like you lost your identity, and you feel like you're sad for no reason, and you feel like you just want to be left alone and really to yourself. See, here's the thing. My name is Terrell with the Humphrey, and I created 5 free ways to identify if you have depression or not. See, the thing about mental health is that we don't understand how it creep up on us. As it's creeping up on us, we become sad, we become depressed, we become overwhelmed, we start having anxiety attacks. See, the thing about identifying your pain is that you're able to walk along the path of healing. So I've created 5 ways to identify if you have depression or not, and these are from my experience, what I overcame, what I experienced, and the growth I developed for myself. But it took me to identify what I was going through, in order to grow through it. Learn as you go, grow as you learn, and that's the best way that we're able to heal because we have to identify the pain. Once we identify the pain, now we can work our way towards healing and grow into a unique identity. Again, click this link down below to get 5 free ways to identify if you have depression or not. Click this link down below. Enjoy the show, and I'll see you there. Relationships are very traumatizing. The thing that makes it traumatizing is because nobody gives us proper tools, proper techniques, proper strategies to heal from a relationship, to heal from the pain, to heal from depression, to heal from everything that we went through. See, the thing about relationships is that it's deep. It is really deep. Excuse me. It's deeper than an explanation of just saying, I find you attractive, you find me attractive, let's get in a situation. See, the thing about relationships that a lot of people don't talk about, how daunting it is, right? Not just how daunting it is, how overwhelming it can be, how frustrating it can be, how happy it can be, how sad it can be, how enjoyable it can be, how frustrating, I think I said frustrating twice, how frustrating it can be, how discouraging it can be, how lack of motivation it can be. See, the thing about a relationship that a lot of people don't tell you about until it's too late is the fact that a relationship is more than just coming together as one. It's understanding this person. Not only this person is understanding yourself, not only yourself, but understanding what do y'all have going on together. See, the thing about a relationship that's so very difficult to understand is that I'm an individual, this person is an individual, and we coming together as one. We're no longer separate, now we're together. See, here's a demonstration of what it looked like. One plus one equals 2. But if you really take a dive in deeper, this 2 becomes 1. All right. when I got in a relationship with my ex-wife, I knew I wanted to be with her because I found her attractive. I didn't understand the foundation part. I didn't understand what goes into it. I just thought I'm a male, she's a female, and she was very attractive. So I'm like, okay, let me go talk to her. Let me see if I can, talk to her and tell her, get to know her a little bit. Not just tell her anything, but get to know her, see how can we grow, see what are we doing, what are you doing, you feel me? I didn't know when I approached her everything that I would learn from that. We was together for 2 years. As we was together, we was trying to figure out ourselves. We was trying to figure out what we was doing. We was trying to figure out like everything that was going on to place. Not only was I in the military, she was in school. So it was like a whole bunch of things that was compounded on top of each other. But the thing that I didn't know, and didn't learn, and didn't identify until it was too late was to start working on myself, right? In order to be one, we have to heal from our trauma. We have to recognize our pain. We have to recognize everything that we've been shying away from in order to start growing, right? So right here, pain / trauma. The trauma that I dealt with was that I was raised by a single mom. So my dad wasn't in the picture to show us, me and my two brothers, how to treat a woman within a relationship. What are you building for? What are you working towards? What is the example that you're laying for the foundation? See, the foundation is understanding that there's a long-term goal that we're trying to accomplish. The foundation is ourselves. The foundation is me and her, and we come together with the understanding we're trying to grow. With the understanding that it's just not a temporary thing. We're trying to make this a longevity relationship. So here's the thing out there that I realized, here's the thing that I learned, here's the thing that I experienced, is that as we're going from relationship to relationship, we don't have the proper training to heal, the proper techniques to heal, the proper experience or understanding to say this is what's wrong with us and this is what I need to do in order to start better myself. As me and my wife was going through our disheartening breakup, I started to read, I started to learn, I started to grow. It was this book called Single on Purpose. And essentially it says that you have to date yourself and really get to know yourself. So meaning not only are you healing from pain and trauma, you're finding out what are you good at doing, what you want to do, why are you doing it this way. You're finding you're bad, you're good, you're bad. You're learning how to communicate. See, a relationship is more than just two people coming together. A relationship is communication. These are all the things that relationship consists of. Communication. Communication is hard to develop when you never knew why you needed to communicate, when you never understood the emotions behind communications, when I never understand how I say things matter, how I do things matter, how I approach things matter. So a lot of times as I'm picking and choosing what to say, how I say what's about to come out my mouth, it determines how the conversation is going to go. It determines how the move is going to go. It determines how this person is going to react. Understanding how, I forgot to end. Understanding proper communication is everything. Communication is saying, if your feelings got hurt, properly saying this, my feelings got hurt because you did this, and I didn't appreciate that because it felt like you neglected my feelings. Communication is identifying what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what makes you upset, what's bothering you, rather than keep building it up. You're speaking it as soon as it happens. Within my relationship, I had to learn how to communicate, but I didn't know how to communicate because I wasn't used to it. I asked my ex-wife a question that really stuck with me. How come you can't teach me that? I feel like you understand yourself more than anything, but how come you can't teach me that? She made a statement. She said, I can't teach you that. I'm like, what? I'm like, how can you not teach me that if you understand how to go through that, if you've been through it, if you dealt with it before? How do you not know how to, inform somebody how to properly communicate? And she said, when she said that, I really got her thinking. I'm like, okay, maybe she can't teach me that. Maybe I have to learn that on my own or try to figure it out. If it wasn't communication, it was communication by my emotions. It was communication by my emotions. So I learned if I've never been depressed, if I've never been in a situation to where I had to really learn how to communicate, I don't know how to do it. So it took me time to develop this. It took me time to realize this. It took me time to learn it and implement it every day. Communication is key because that's where the other person is able to understand where you're coming from. I used to think that my ex-wife can read minds. So when I come home feeling down, feeling depressed, and my feelings was hurt, I just go upstairs. I didn't know how to properly say it. My feelings was hurt because, I had a bad day. I had a long day because I was thinking about like X amount of things. I didn't know how to properly say that because I didn't know proper communication skills. But as our relationship start going towards the route of ending, I had to learn communication is everything. Not just everything. That's how we're able to understand what we're going through in the phase of the process that we're going through. The thing that we lack as a couple, as a relationship, is that we don't understand step one, communication. We don't understand it because we wasn't taught it. And here's how you're able to understand communication, how to start working on it. Be intentional to be with yourself. Notice I didn't say be intentional to be with the other person. No. First thing first, you have to be intentional with yourself, to date yourself, and to be present of who you are. Here's what this is doing. This is teaching you about yourself and everything that you've been hiding from and shying away from. You can no longer hide from yourself when you sit in the misery, when you dwell in it, when you understand it, when you feel it, and your emotions is going from happy to sad to confused to frustrated to overwhelmed. But as you're able to identify every emotion, you're able to identify yourself. So when you become intentional with your emotions, with yourself, you're able to understand proper communication. Not only are you understanding proper communication for yourself, you're able to translate this energy to your spouse or your partner and say, this is what's wrong with me. This is why. This is how I know what's wrong with me, because I'm listening to my intuition. I'm listening to my gut feeling that says I'm bothered by this. Women have feelings just like men have feelings. Men have feelings just like women have feelings. We as people, as individuals, as couples, as spouses, as a relationship, have to understand we're not the only ones dealing with life. Our partner is dealing with it as much as we're dealing with it. But if we don't understand it now, we're separately yoked. I think that's the proper word. We're separately yoked and we're not coming together. The next thing I learned in a relationship, patience. Hopefully I spelled that right. You got to have patience. It's not going to get better overnight. It is not going to get better overnight. Meaning that it will take some time. It will take some time for you to really understand why everything's happening the way it's happening. I had to understand when I was going through my pain and my suffering, I had to go through it. I had to sit in it. I had to dwell in it, because that was one of the most troubling time that I ever had to face. Most difficult time that really took me out mentally. It took me out because I wasn't able to identify what was wrong with me. As I started to really sit in and understand it and cope with it and find a coping mechanism, I was able to identify everything that was wrong with me. I was able to identify it. Men, it is okay to cry. It is okay to cry. It is okay to get your feelings hurt. It is okay to identify everything that you're dealing with. Because here's what's happening that I learned is that as we're holding on to this pain, our spouse and our partner is feeling the same thing. They feel the pain. They feel the pushback that we have, because we don't want to be vulnerable enough to say, this is what's wrong with me. I'm only speaking from my perspective. I'm not speaking on her perspective because I'm not her. I'm speaking on my perspective. Communication is key. Patience is what makes the relationship stronger. Not just stronger, but it make it last a long time, because that's where we're understanding each other position in life. Just like I said earlier, your spouse or partner is dealing with something just like you're dealing with something. But we can't be so selfish in our head to say, my problem is bigger than my spouse's. My spouse probably does not matter, because my problem right now is what's taking me out. Which is, I understand. They're just saying that a lot of relationships, a lot of couples say that a relationship will never be 50-50. It took me a long time to understand why not. A relationship would never be 50-50. It took me a long time to understand what they really mean. Because my ex-wife said the same thing, but when she said it, I didn't understand it. A relationship is not gonna always be 50-50. Sometimes one partner has to hold all the weight, or majority of the weight. Then another time the other partner gonna have to hold the rest of the weight. It's an equal balance with each other, right? But what I've learned about relationships, a lot of people don't speak about, is that you have to be committed to the journey, committed to this person, committed to the process, because it's not going to be good every day. It's not going to be great each and every day you wake up. It is not. What's happening is that you're learning yourself, but as you're learning yourself, you're learning your partner, but as your partner is learning themselves, y'all learning how to be together as one, be together as a foundation, be together as a couple, be together as a strong, understanding relationship. But it doesn't happen when we don't take everything into understanding, right? Just like communication is key, patience is vital as well. Having patience is vital as well, because things not gonna happen overnight. Your spouse or partner are not gonna feel better in the span of a day, or less alone a month, less alone 2 months. If you're committed to this person, you have to understand that as long as you show up for this person, they will feel secure. They will feel like they are seen, or they are able to be saw. They are able to be seen and understood. We have to understand ourselves before we can understand this other person. But once we understand ourselves and understand this person, there's a value exchange that has to get taken into place every day. Every day, every day, every day you have to be committed to this person. Every day you have to be committed to this journey. Every day you have to be committed to what you all have going on. My divorce ended because I didn't understand the foundation of a relationship. My divorce ended because I understand that it's really going to be hard. I did not understand that. The reason why older couples are lasting 20 plus years is because they understand that nothing will be easy. Everything that you're working towards will not be handed to you on a silver platter. Not just a silver platter, but things that look appealing. What goes on behind closed doors we'll never understand unless we're behind the door as well. The last thing I learned about a relationship is that this is a big one. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. The reason why this is an important factor is because a lot of times as we're going through the process, we forget to enjoy each other's presence. As we're going through the journey and the difficulty and the hard times and the great times and the emotional times, we have to understand things are happening for a particular reason. During my relationship, I'll try to understand that when bad times are here, they will not last. They will not last. Simply because when it rains, it really rains. But as it's slowly raining and the rain slowly start to decrease, that's when the sunshine start to come. But we have to be willing to go through the process in order to figure out to find the sun, find the light. But we can't find it as soon as it start raining, we give up. As soon as it start getting difficult and stormy and windy and cold, we want to give up. What if we just keep pushing through the process and keep growing and keep finding ourselves and not giving up on the process? It's a picture that I really love. I got it ingrained in my mind. This is what the picture is. Hold on, give me 1 second. This is what the picture is. I'm gonna have fun right here. Have fun. It's this picture. I love this picture, man. So essentially, you got the heel. Let me see if I can see it. You got the heel. You got a stick man, and you got a rock, and he's pushing it. Yeah, and he's pushing it. So the bottom will always be easy. The bottom will always be easy because you already started. Starting is difficult, but once you start, you already started. But it's being persistent along the journey that help you become disciplined and understanding. See, it's easy to quit right here. It's easy to quit right here because you can just let it roll back down. You can just let it roll back down, then all of a sudden it's just gonna go back to the end. It would be easy to give up like that, but it takes resiliency to understand as I'm pushing through this hard time, this difficulty, the process, the journey, the emotions. I'm getting somewhere. I'm growing somewhere. But we're not gonna figure that out if we quit as soon as it get hard right here. As soon as it get difficult right here. As soon as it get overwhelming right here. Nothing is nothing that's worth pursuing will come easy. That's a relationship. That's your passion. That's your purpose. There's a goal. There's a dream. Everything that you want to do will never come easy. You have to be committed to make this work. You have to be committed not only to make a relationship work, but to focus on yourself. Not only to focus on yourself, but to understand yourself. Not only to understand yourself, but to understand your partner and what they're dealing with, what they're going through. Life is going to be hard, but you have a choice to either push through the hard times and create your outcome or give up as soon as it get hard. Give up as soon as it's hard. If you haven't yet, please go subscribe to my channel. Please hit the subscribe button down below so that way you can be in tune with the conversation so you can learn more about relationships to see everything that we can speak about in order to grow into a better version of yourself. And see, here's the thing about relationships. It's doable. It's possible. It's achievable. And it's also difficult. It's also overwhelming. It's also disheartening. You have trials and error. You got good days, you got bad days, you got bad days, you got good days. It will never be a balance. But you have to understand the balance that you're creating for yourself is when you understand who you are and understand what your partner is dealing with as well.